Welcome to season 2 of the Self Care Sanctuary, a community where self care is not an option. And we believe it's necessary that when you learn to love yourself, it really doesn't matter who doesn't. This season, our focus will be all about creating safe and healthy relationships, beginning, of course, with ourselves. We are so excited to be hearing from all of you during this season. We're excited about all of our upcoming guests that we have lined up. And today we are so lucky to have Chenelle Deloach. Our topic today is, are you okay with you? Radical self acceptance. Help me, self care family. Welcome, Chenelle Deloach.
Hello, hello.
Thank you so much for joining me today. Let me let our listeners know a little bit about you. This is your first time being with me on the show and the Self Care Sanctuary family. So, Chanel Deloach is a multifaceted entrepreneur, author, and dedicated professional. As the founder of She Pressed, is that right?
Correct. Mhm.
All right, she press designs and stationery. She helps others stay organized, inspired, and empowered through uniquely crafted stationery products, in addition to running her business. Chanel is a published author who is passionate about storytelling and personal growth. She balances her entrepreneurial journey with a full time career in the accounting field, while also embracing her most cherished roles as a mother and grandmother. Chanel is committed to leaving a legacy of creativity, resilience, and purpose, both in business and in life. And so today we thought it was a great idea to have Chanel join us because she is well versed in learning how to
Mhm.
become okay, to become safe with yourself, which is the title of her upcoming new release.
Yeah.
Her upcoming new release, I Am Safe with Me, Living Through Childhood Trauma,
Yes,
Surviving
ma'am.
Childhood Trauma. My
Yes.
goodness. My goodness.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, um, we're talking about being okay with yourself
hmm
and learning how to radically accept yourself, getting to the point where we can say, you know what, I am who I am. It is what it is, you know, and embracing, not trying to erase, but embracing the lessons from the pain that we have endured, particularly
hmm
through childhood trauma. Um, Tell us about how you went from managing your pain to a point of finding some validity to it.
It took a while. And I had to learn that your pain is not going to disappear. You have to figure out where to put it in your life. Whether you want it to lead your life or do you just want it to be a part of your life that you sometimes have to revisit, but it does not have to be the forefront of your life. Um, it took me a long time. About a couple of years ago is when I finally decided I need to heal. Um, I realized where I was in my life, but I knew where I wanted to go. And as long as I kept being bitter, holding on to hurt, being mad at people, that really wasn't doing anything for me. And so I finally decided, like, I'm ready to just be okay with Chanel, live for Chanel, and
Yes.
not allow everything that I've gone through to continue to lead my life because I realized that I was literally living in a trauma mindset.
Hmm.
And I finally started, I'm real big on mindset these days. And I had to change your mindset to change your life. And so
So true.
when I changed my mindset, then I was able to fully heal, to get past everything that I've gone through and not just holding on to it because it was weighing me down.
Hmm. Hmm. You said it was weighing you down. How did that look? How was that
Mm,
pain showing up in your everyday life? Because I call it bleeding on people, right?
yeah.
When we start trying to hold it in and trying to manage, we start to ooze,
Mhm.
right? It starts to come out of you somehow. So how is it showing up for you?
It's crazy because at first I thought, at one point I thought, I'm like, I'm good. I had put everything in the back of my head. Like, I don't even think about it. I don't worry about it. I'm just living. And around May of 2023, um, something triggered
Okay.
me from my past. And I couldn't get out the bed for a week.
Wow.
I was in the bed. And funny enough, your sweet self we got in contact with each other. We were put into contact with each other, and I spoke with you, and you were the one that made me realize, like, everything that I've gone through, everything that I thought I had released was actually on me. It was heavy. It was weighing me down, and
Uh-huh.
I had to figure out, how am I gonna get out this bed? And when I literally I cried. I was literally in the bed for a week.
Mhm.
And a friend of mine, she was like, something ain't right. You gotta figure this out. And like I said, I spoke with you, and it made a whole lot of sense that it was weighing me down. And I realized I really wasn't healed. I was just living, masking what I've gone through, thinking that being that I pushed it in the back of my head, that I've actually dealt with it. And that wasn't the truth at all.
Mhm. It
So,
shows up somehow. Can you let us know, like, what was one of the first things after you came to realize that I have to do something? This is weighing me down. What was one of the first steps that you took in order to start your journey of healing? Because last week we talked about healing as we go,
mm-hmm,
meaning like in your case, you said that you were in the bed for a week. And that's sometimes how we get stuck when it becomes so heavy and then we can't move forward. So once
mm-hmm,
you came to a realization that that was actually what was happening, right? Because that's part of the acceptance piece, accepting that there's something wrong.
mm-hmm,
I gotta do something.
mm-hmm.
That's number one.
Yes.
Is accepting that I'm messed up right now.
Yeah.
So after you acknowledged that and accepted it, what's some of the other steps that you took in order to get up out of there?
First and foremost, I prayed. Um,
Hello.
I prayed, and and I asked God, I'm like, God, I can't do this without you. I
Hmm.
recognize something is wrong and I need something different. I need to do something different. I need to handle everything differently. And I prayed, I got up, I took a shower, and the next day I called and I made an appointment with a therapist.
There you go.
My At the time, my friends didn't know what was going on. I wasn't talking to anybody, and I found that we went to eat. We went to lunch, and that's when I told them, and they were like, "Are you serious? Like, you're just sitting over there, not going to tell anybody anything? You just in it, huh?" And so most of my friends, like, they're very spiritual. They can pray the house down. Um, they can pray the
We
house
need
down.
those friends.
Yes, yes, they every area of your life you need somebody, and so in a lot of areas of my life, they are those people for me, and they pray for me, and they began checking up on me, sending me messages, leaving me voicemails, just making sure that I was okay. But I made sure that I stayed in therapy. I was in therapy twice a week, um, for months.
Hmm.
I'm a heavy journaler, but at that time I wasn't writing. I started back writing.
Tell me what that does for you.
It's freedom. It releases everything that I can't verbally say. I write it down. A lot of times my journaling, I'm praying. I'm talking to God.
Hmm.
just literally talking to him just like you and I. Like it's no, no prim and proper type thing. Like I'm talking to him like, listen now, you got to tell, this is
Right.
look, it ain't no father. No, father, I'm here. I need you to talk to me. I'm waiting. But it's just whatever I'm feeling, and,
Yeah.
and if it's something that I can't express how I'm feeling, I just write until it actually comes out. And as I'm writing, Holy Spirit guide me. Like, Holy Spirit, please just I'm listening to you. Like I need to hear your voice. And it just began to flow. And then as I'm writing, I can feel myself, that anxiety or whatever I have going on at the time, I feel it releasing off of me. And so once I write it down, I'm done with it. I move on to the next day.
This is so important, and I hope our listeners really tap into that because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times during my sessions with my clients, just as your therapist, and you're already a journaler, and we always talk about journaling because it is a release. It
Mm-hmm.
goes from here, from your mind, through your body, out of your hand, onto paper.
Absolutely.
And sometimes, right? Creating this space for yourself. It's a safe space for you.
Yes.
We oftentimes will tell people, you said that you had experienced childhood trauma. We, as therapists, suggest to our clients sometimes that they write letters that will never be sent
Mm-hmm.
so that you're able to share and say, express the anger and everything that you went through as a
Mm-hmm.
child. And it
Yes.
becomes so traumatic and it stays locked in us because part of it is we're told, you better not say nothing.
Girl.
You better not say nothing at all.
Yep. Yep.
So your voice is taken away.
Mm-hmm.
And that shows up in your life in so many ways where we
Yeah.
feel it. Sometimes people will go one way or the other. They either become hyper vigilant about being loud, being boisterous, like you're going to hear
Mm-hmm.
what I got to say.
Period.
Because I done kept this stuff. I'm not going to let nobody tell me
Mm-hmm.
that I can't say something or I can't defend myself. So we become hyper vigilant. Or you have
Right.
the other spectrum of it, which we see so many times where women will, cower down or their voice is stolen, so they didn't
From
have it
them.
then and they
Mm-hmm.
don't have it as an adult. So
Right.
the people pleasing begins, and we want to just, let everything slide and let
Mm-hmm.
people just walk over us because we don't feel
Yes.
like we can say anything or
Yep.
we don't have a voice or our voice doesn't matter or I can't
Mm-hmm.
say anything because I want to protect that person. And
Or I'm
that's
gonna get in
one.
trouble.
Yeah, or you're going to get some, I'm gonna be in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Does that any of that resonate with you?
A lot of that resonates with me. It resonates in the fact of, and I speak about it in my book,
Mm-hmm.
molestation. A lot of times in the Black community, we're told to be quiet.
Yeah,
Don't tell nobody, because usually it's somebody in our family that is molesting us. And that
that's
was my case.
unfortunate. Mm-hmm.
Very unfortunate. And for me, I didn't get, it wasn't no justice done for me. It was swept under the rug. It was never talked about again. Um,
So initially
and
you did tell someone?
I told my aunt. I told one of my aunts. Yeah, because it was one night I was supposed to be getting ready for school, and it was this show on TV, and that was the first time I ever heard the word of molestation. I didn't know what it meant,
Okay.
and I had no idea. I was like 11, I think, maybe 10 or 11 years old. I can't remember exactly how old I was, but I was young.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked my aunt. I said, "What is that?" And she told me, and I said, "Oh, okay." And she was like, "Chenelle, somebody molested you?" And she asked me, and I quietly said yes. And so I told her who it was. I told her, I told her everything, and
Mm-hmm.
nothing happened. Um, my biological mom, it was her husband.
Okay.
and and he just nothing happened. I what stayed away from him for a little while, but I still had to see him. I still had to be around him.
I'm sure that was
Nothing happened
hard.
to him. Nothing. I was very, very angry when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody never wanted to even ask me why. Like, why was I the way that I was? Why was I always popping off? I had a smart mouth. I just didn't care. And I didn't care because I felt like nobody cared about me. Nobody was
Mm-hmm.
protecting me.
Mm-hmm.
Who's gonna? I have all these adults around me. Who's gonna protect Chenelle? Nobody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you were on the spectrum of being hyper vigilant about standing up for yourself because
Very.
you did not have that voice back
Yep.
then. So it's like
Yep.
nobody's going to do this to me I'm growing up because I'm gonna
Yep.
be loud and proud.
Yep. And they carried on into my adult life. Like I was just angry, just mad, mouth. I would pop off in a minute. Straight attitude, didn't care, did not care because again, I grew up thinking nobody care about me, nobody care about me. So I'm gonna get you before you get me. I'm gonna
Hmm.
hurt you before you hurt me. And so that was my mentality. So my mouth, it was ruthless. It really was.
So I would imagine that it would be really hard to have relationships, healthy relationships with that type of mentality because I'm sure that there were things that could easily trigger you
Hmm.
to put you in that, we have our defense mechanisms of fight, flight, freeze, or even fawn. And
Hmm.
your default became, I'm gonna fight.
And I fought. That's all I knew. That's all I knew. And healthy um romantic relationship, I haven't had one. Um my relationship with my children, it wasn't healthy. It's gotten better. I'm just, like I said, once I knew I needed to do differently, I started doing differently. I realized it, and I was no longer blaming everybody else. Like, okay, you're grown, and these decisions that you are making now, you can't continue saying, "Oh, it's because nobody loved me." Oh, because my mama wasn't there for me. Oh, no, no, I can't keep using that excuse. At this point, it's a choice.
Yeah. So at some point, when we talk about radically accepting where we are and who
Mm-hmm.
we are,
Mm-hmm.
becoming okay with who we are, just as you said, one of the things that, we talk about even in therapy is really observing the fact that, okay, something's wrong with me. It shouldn't be this way, right? There's something
Yep.
in us that lets us know it really shouldn't be like this.
Right.
And just
Yep.
reminding ourselves that, you know, what happened to you was horrible. And reminding yourself that that was a reality, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But this and going back and saying this is what really happened. You're not
Right.
sugarcoating it, it's accepting
Nope.
it. This is what happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Yep.
what it sounds like you did even with your friends, just sharing with them, this is what's going on with me.
Mm-hmm.
But that's part of the healing process is and the radical acceptance of this is what happened and then how it happened. This is how
Mm-hmm.
it happened. Because what
Yeah.
happens is, and I'm going through these steps because in our minds, they can play tricks on us.
Absolutely.
Particularly when someone has um caused us harm
Mm-hmm.
as a child at any point in our lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we experience traumatic experiences, like you as a child, we have to, it's like a mixture of bits and pieces that you can remember about what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Mm-hmm.
there's bits and pieces about what your perpetrator said to you to try to get you not to remember what
Yep.
happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to And as we get older, as people get older, they're trying to decipher, well, did this like,
Mm,
or am I remembering this right? I have some people who just really struggle with, I don't even know if this
mm,
really happened.
yeah.
So let me just help our listeners out.
Hmm.
If you would not be thinking about such a topic as a 6 year old if it didn't
No,
happen.
correct.
A 6 year old does not have the development, the vocabulary.
To be able
They
to do.
don't have any place of
Mm-mm.
point of reference for anything that is abusive,
Right.
sexual, physical abuse, verbal. They don't have that reference until someone interjects it into their lives. So, as an adult, if you're thinking or questioning about what happened or if something happened.
Absolutely.
Because as a 5 or 6 year old, you wouldn't even be
You
thinking
wouldn't be
about that.
thinking about that. No,
You'd be thinking about Barbies or playing outside.
absolutely.
So, unless somebody said or did something to you, because your body remembers that something happened and it ain't right, right?
Yep.
Something happened to me. But it becomes cloudy in our heads because of, like I said, of all of the outside things. And sometimes as a child, you detach from the incident in order to survive it, right?
Hmm.
So part of that, again, is just saying, yes, this, it shouldn't be this way. I shouldn't be this way, but something happened to me. This is what happened.
Yes.
This is how things happened. Right? And then you start practicing accepting, starting with those things. And that's what it sounds like you did. Wait a minute, right? Based on the steps that you just said. And then next, you're practicing using your self talk and different things, your imagery, trying to wrestle with and heal from what you finally
Happened.
figured out really happened, right?
Hmm.
And how
Yes.
you're responding. So,
Yes.
as you mentioned, like I was, going through being, angry. Well, that was your trauma response, right?
Hmm.
That was how you responded.
Yeah,
So, tell us
absolutely.
how this healing journey of yours, how in the world did you start creating safety and peace within yourself?
I if I don't take care of me, if I don't love me, who else will? And I knew I needed to love myself more. I wasn't I wasn't really loving Chanel. Chanel was just floating. And um due to some of the things that I went through in my childhood, it was hard for me to be by myself. It's
Okay.
still hard sometimes for me to be by myself.
Okay.
And I know that sometimes I've stayed in relationships because I didn't want to be by myself.
Oh, yeah.
Um, right now, for the first time in my life, I am okay with just being by myself.
I love that.
I can stay at home by myself. Now, again, sometimes I still have moments where, I have to prepare myself to go outside. I have a self talk with myself
Mm-hmm.
um, to prepare me to go outside. And it's just fear, but I talk myself through it. But I just needed to love Chanel more. When I looked around and I looked at my life, I'm like, I am truly blessed. Let
Mm-hmm.
me enjoy this.
Mm-hmm.
Let me enjoy what God has given me. Let me enjoy all these blessings, this creativity, everything that He's put inside of me. I need to enjoy that because I wasn't. I'm a homebody, but now, yeah, I'm a homebody, but now I'm in here working. I'm working on my business. I'm writing. I'm creating. I'm not just in here in the bed, like just staying in the bed and not getting up. I'm loving Chanel. And
Mm-hmm.
this is what it's about for me. I love my children. I love my grandkids, but Chanel had to love Chanel. Chanel had to realize that I'm worthy of love.
For
I've
sure.
had I've had issues, but them issues do not define me. And I just deserve happiness. I deserve to be happy.
Mhm.
And now I'm like more or less like I don't worry about stuff like I used to.
Yeah.
I just it is what it is. Okay. It is what it is.
Hmm.
Because if it doesn't help me, if it's gonna hurt me, I don't want it around me.
Yeah.
Whether that's things or people,
Hmm.
I don't want it around me no more.
So that sounds like creating this safe space for yourself is in
Hmm.
order to love yourself more. And we are 100, 1000% all about that.
Hmm.
So that sounds like that was your way of starting to create boundaries, starting to
Yes,
think
because
about you first. So tell me about that process.
yeah, because I would just say my home is my safe place.
Yeah.
My home
Hmm.
is my safe place because I was never safe anywhere else.
Wow.
So I've built my home is in a place is like that is my safe space.
Your
And
sanctuary.
if I don't want you here, you're not gonna be here.
I know that's right.
If I don't want you here, you cannot come over here.
Mhm.
I live far. So can't nobody say, oh, I was in the neighborhood. No, you wasn't. I live out. No, you wasn't. Ain't nobody drove 45 minutes from town because you was in the neighborhood. No, you can go to the mall and you still don't have to be, close to my home. So don't say you was in the neighborhood because you wasn't. My home is my safe space. And if I don't want you here, you can't come. You can come to my house and ring my doorbell. If you did not tell me you was on your way or ask me could you come, nope. My doormat says at did you call first?
Your doormat says that.
Yes.
I need one of those. But I live in the country too, so we
Yeah,
know.
and I'm just serious. Like if I don't, because you can't break. I don't want that negativity in my space. Like people draw, like no, no. And if it's not good for me, I don't want it here. I don't. And so I create my own my safe space, my boundaries. I've learned how to say no in a much more nicer way because try
Mhm.
not to hurt people feelings. But no, no, I don't want company today.
Mhm.
No, no, no. Yeah, I'm home. Well, I'm coming. No, I don't want company. I'm good. I'm busy. And my
Mhm.
busy may just be me sitting in my recliner, laying in my bed. I'm busy.
That's right. You know what? I'm glad you said that about if I'm just sitting in my bed or in my recliner, I'm busy.
I'm busy.
Because I have a lot of people, and even me at some point when I was younger, because I'm in my 50s now and I don't care. But
51. No, ma'am.
yeah. So it's like, but back in, when I was younger, maybe in my 30s, and 20s, of course, for sure, I felt bad. I felt guilty because I definitely was a people pleaser for sure.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I would feel bad if I was just relaxing and somebody asked me to do something. And if I felt like me just sitting around relaxing I wasn't doing anything, when in
Hmm.
fact I needed that rest.
You
And I
need that. So you need it.
literally wore myself out,
Yep.
ripping and running, doing other people's stuff, tore down.
Yep.
Ain't have nothing left for myself. That's
You
good
have to
proper
choose
English.
you. Yeah. You have to choose you. It's like you can't, no one, even my children, you cannot guilt me into doing something I don't want to do. And that even babysitting my grandkids, like I ain't had them kids. Them your kids. Them y'all children. Yep, I'm country. Them y'all kids.
Mm-hmm.
No, but
Mm-hmm.
and my daughter like, are you outside this weekend? Yup. Am I outside? Very well could be. Me sitting in my bed. But that's my time. And if I don't want to share it with anybody else, I don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that. Like because when I was doing stuff just because I felt bad by saying no, or I felt bad. Shoot, I could have went. That was making me sick because I'm sitting here worrying about how I possibly made somebody else feel by not doing something I really did not want to do.
in the
And
first
I'm
place.
like, that's my choice. Like, I can do that. It is okay. I don't have no responsibilities but myself. But
Hmm.
myself. And if I don't want to watch kids this weekend, I'm not watching kids. I am busy.
Yeah, I
And it
love
doesn't
that
mean I don't
because,
love them.
right, but you gotta love you.
That part. Because for a long time, I didn't.
Right. And that's what it looks like when we start accepting that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
what I hear you saying is that you thought about all of the things, even like I said with me, thinking about how my behaviors, not nobody else's, but mine, because we teach people how to treat us. So,
Amen.
we were doing things that we didn't really want to do, um, engaging in things that, were more so depleting than life-giving, right?
Mm-hmm.
Accepting the fact that that's what we were doing, because we can excuse some things. Oh, they just need me. Oh, we don't want to be
Right.
seen as being mean, or
Mm-hmm.
we want to be there, but it's not about that. And the sooner we can accept that, we have to look at, what am I getting out of this? What am I
That
getting
part.
out of always feeling like I need to show up for everybody? Because there's
Yes.
got to be some kind of payoff if
Mm-hmm.
I'm constantly doing this. So asking yourself, what am I getting out of this?
Yeah. And it's like people will say, oh, you don't do stuff with people because you want just because you want people to do stuff for you. But in the same breath, if I'm breaking my neck for somebody else, who's gonna break their neck for me? Why
Right.
am I gonna continue putting myself out there when ain't nobody running to my rescue?
Mm.
No, it's not necessarily about if you do for me, I'll do for you. No. But I'm not gonna keep doing for you and ain't nobody doing nothing for me. How does that balance out? It doesn't. So it's like you got at some point you have to choose yourself and be like, self-love is the best love. And no, I'm not gonna keep putting myself in a situation that I don't want to be in when you that person or anybody else would not do it for me.
Right. I always look at it like, if I'm loving you and you're loving you, who's loving me?
That part.
And that was something um that I had to really radically accept myself. The
Mm-hmm.
fact that there was nobody, not even myself at one point in my life, that was loving me. And I'm speaking in terms of relationship.
Yeah.
Um, you know, in my with my ex, I realized that was one of the things that allowed me to get to a place that he could be my ex. Quite frankly.
Right, right.
Because I had to realize that.
Mhm.
When you get sick and tired and you're tired and you looking like, wait a minute, this thing is not balanced.
At all. At all.
And then even when you're looking at friendships, family members, I
Mm-hmm.
have some family members where I looked around and the only time I spoke to them was when they wanted something. But let me say no. I said no a couple
Baby.
times
Mm-hmm.
because maybe they thought the first time was just a fluke.
A test.
Yeah. So I had to say it again. And then after I said a no a couple times, I didn't hear from them.
Of course not, because their need of you was no
It's
longer
done.
there. Mhm.
And my need to feel validated or needed or wanted was no longer there either
At all.
at all. And that's what you call radical acceptance. You know,
Mhm.
when we have to do an inventory of not just ourselves, but the people that we have around us. right? And I
Mm-hmm.
know that when you and I were speaking, one of the things that you talk about is understanding that we aren't alone. We're
Right.
not alone. We don't have to do this thing alone. And you reached out to your friends and you talked about how you had friends that were showing up. They were concerned because you were suffering by yourself and they can
Mm-hmm.
pray for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us about making sure the importance, because we know we're not alone,
Mm-hmm.
but talk to us about the importance of having the right type of people,
Oh my God.
understanding like you cannot just share your truth with any and everybody. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's very important to understand that you have to have the key people around you, like your tribe. You sound like you
Mm-hmm.
have a great tribe.
I
Tell us
do.
about that.
And and before I say this, I would just say nothing, no dig or anything to friendships I've had in the past, because every season of your life, you will have different friends, different people in your life of that season.
Right.
Um, and I live here in Minnesota. The only family I have here was my youngest daughter. I didn't have no friends when I got here. Didn't know nobody else outside of the relationship that I was in. And 2016, their relationship dissolved, and I was just here. And it was a matter of me just praying to God, like, God, you know what I need. Like, send me what I need. Because I wasn't going nowhere. I ain't had nobody to really talk to. The person I was talking to come find out she really wasn't my friend like that. It was just
Hmm.
a whole lot. And so I just was by myself. And my friends, one of them, I met them through church. And so I became a part of this women's group, that we were, that used to do conference, women conference and everything, but it was through the church. And so that is how I became friends with these women. And it's a total of eight of us, I think. I think it's like seven, it's like eight of us. I'm trying to count, it's like eight of us. When I say God handpicked those women for me, He handpicked those women for me.
Hmm.
Um, the place that I was in my life during that time when I met them,
Hmm.
I needed that. I
Hmm.
needed to see what love was.
Hmm.
I needed to see what friendship was. I needed to see what it feels like to actually have somebody in your corner and not looking for anything back in return but friendship.
Yes.
No jealousy, none of that bickering, none of that stuff. When I say he handpicked these women for me, he handpicked them for me. And I just watched how they move. Am I saying we all are perfect? Absolutely not. But I watched how they moved. I watched how they go through stuff, how they get through stuff, and the support that is there. Like, we could be on FaceTime and we can look at somebody and be like, what's wrong with you?
Right.
Something ain't right. Gonna immediately go into prayer. Like, we can go from cutting up immediately to prayer, because we have that connection with each other. To especially if somebody been missing and they been on the call, oh, we need to figure out what's going on because we heard from so and so. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I needed that. I needed that friendship. I needed that no judgment zone. Like, I can literally, because I'll say this, I'm bipolar. They accepted me for Chenelle. It doesn't have anything. It's not about my mental illness. They respect, like, certain things about me that will trigger. They understand those things. It's not always talked about. It's just a respect type of thing. And it's like, I was like, dang, I ain't got to do nothing but be y'all friend.
Yeah.
All we're looking for is loyalty to, respect, secret keepers, prayer warriors, that, travel together without, like, we are actually women that can travel together and have the absolute best time with each other. Even here, when we're home, have the absolute best time. But if one of us is in a place where want somebody, we popping up, we showing up. And if
Hmm.
we can't show up, we get on the phone. You need those people that's honest with you. They're honest.
Yes,
Like if you tripping, they gonna tell you tripping, right? Like, what is wrong with you?
we do need
Like,
that.
yes, like relationship wise, why you still now you know better, but I'm gonna let you do you. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you need people in your life that are going to be honest with you, not just not just say, oh, overlook it and just allow you to be out here in the streets wilding. Like that's not a friend. That's not a friend at all. And you need people in your corner that's going to be honest with you, tell you the truth, support you. People, you say support, people always, tag that with money. No, you need that
So much
emotional
deeper.
support. It's
Hmm.
so much deeper, so much deeper. And so many people tell us, like, what y'all have is like, it's rare. When
Yeah.
I say I love my crew, and they know it, I love them women. They are like the best. And
Hmm.
and to be honest, I don't know where I would be right now if it wasn't for them.
Hmm. Yeah. You got to have somebody you can do life with. And
Yes.
you made a very important point in that people do come in our lives for seasons
Hmm.
sometimes, but then you have your lifetime ones, where I have the same friends that I've had for 30, 40 something years,
Hmm.
right? And it's the same where you have to have people in your life that is going to hold you accountable and love you for who you are,
Yep.
good, bad, indifferent, whatever. They're going
Hmm.
to love all of you, accept you for who
Yep.
you are. And then not only that, but help you learn to accept you.
Hmm.
They're going to encourage you. They're going to tell
Yep.
you when you're not doing it the way you should be doing it, what is best for you.
Yep.
And it's like they're going to be faucets and not drains.
Yes. Yes.
You need people that's going to pour into you, not always
Hmm.
pulling from you.
Pulling from you. Hmm.
Yeah, I
And
love
it's like
that.
it's like I can just when I'm with them, I can just be Chanel. I don't have to be mama. I don't have to be grandmama. I don't have to be nobody but Chanel. That's it. Just Chanel. And and if anything is if we in a headspace where we don't need to be talking to nobody in that moment and our phone right, they gonna take the phone, put it off to the side, like you don't need to deal with that right now. It's just the love, the support, everything. They are just amazing. They really are. They are amazing. And like I said, I'm pretty sure they know. But when I say I appreciate them, I appreciate them to the highest because again, I don't know where I would be if I had not like became like got close with them. I don't know where I would be right now. I don't know. But it's like you need those. And the killing part about it, I'm the oldest one out of the group.
Okay.
But it's almost I got a lot of little big sisters, you know. I have a lot of little big sisters, and I see you want to be around people that when you look at them, you want to be better.
Yes.
You want to be better. If your crew don't make you want to hustle, if your crew don't make you want to be a better person, you in the wrong circle.
Hmm.
You in the wrong circle. Like it's almost like I can't disappoint them. I can't disappoint them. Like no, they just make you want to be better, just
That's
by
true.
how we live our lives.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it's because when it's that accountability piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a difference between wanting to be accountable to our friends, wanting to show up in our best versions because they
Right.
love us that way. So you want to
Mm-hmm.
give them your best, the best parts of you, right?
Yeah.
And you had talked about, I wanted to touch on something really quick where these friendships and
Mm-hmm.
how you may not have had such nurturing relationships and things when you were growing up, right, as a
Nope.
child. And I found it so interesting that You accepted the fact that you needed these type of friends.
Hmm.
When you went to God and you prayed, and they are the result of this prayer, right? They're this answered prayer.
Or my answered
But
prayer.
it's yeah, and it's like it's also they're healing you as an adult, but the love and the care, the warmth, the unconditional regard that they have for you is also healing that inner child.
Hmm. Yeah,
She's
because I didn't
getting
trust
what she
nobody.
needed.
I didn't trust because I've grown up not trusting anybody. I
Mhm.
pushed people away. I really wasn't close to a lot of people. Um, I'm okay living in a whole state by myself. I could be living in the same city as them in the same town, and I don't want to see nobody. I didn't because I didn't trust nobody, and the fact that I kept people away because I didn't want to be hurt. I was tired of being hurt, and I feel like every time somebody came into my life, in some shape or form, they were gonna hurt me.
Yeah.
I've gone through domestic violence. I've went through all of that stuff, the abandonment issues, all of those things, and it's like my my boundary was keeping everybody away. That's how I protected me, because I kept everybody away. Periodically I'll show up, I'll go home, I'll go around, but I'm uneasy. I don't, because I don't know if somebody gonna say something to my children, and I'm gonna have to spaz out, or somebody gonna be looking at me sideways, or start judging me. So I just stayed away, and I kept people away from me. I don't be excited about going home. I don't, and that's just been my way of protecting myself, keeping myself away from pain as much as I could.
And we talked about how that's your trauma response of being
Mm-hmm.
protective of
Mm-hmm.
yourself. But you had also said that your inner child still deserves that nurturing. So it's like you want it. Your attachment style is I want this, but
Mm-hmm.
then I'm gonna push it away because I don't trust it.
Yep.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, these friends of yours was like, no, you will not push us away.
Yep. So,
How was
and
that
like
for
I
you
said,
in the
it was so, and it
beginning?
was, yeah, I was able to. I've learned I can trust them. Like, I literally can trust them. They're not gonna hurt me. Like, they're not gonna do no harm to me. And I've been with them, I think, since 2017, 2018. And we've been going strong. Yeah. So
So
like I
the
said,
name,
I don't think they really realize like the peace that I have with them. I could be on a phone call with them and I may not be saying nothing, but I'm just as cool. I'm okay. My heart is happy because I can trust them. And when I shared with them, well, I shared with one person out of the group about my mental illness, and we were on a trip, and everybody else found out. It's like ain't nothing ever been said.
Mhm.
They make sure I'm okay. They know what I can and cannot do, or what will trigger something. Um, they just make sure I'm good.
Good.
They make sure I'm good, and it's done so quietly, so privately. One of them might just whisper something like, "You good? You need to do such such." Without everybody else knowing. It's just and it's done in such a loving way. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, ain't nobody made me feel bad about being local. Like, what?
Mhm.
Like, okay.
Mhm.
It made me like I'm okay. I'm good.
Mhm.
Like, I don't have to continue hiding it about myself. Like, of course it's not for everybody to know. I'm not just gonna walk around with a sign on my chest, about my mental illness, but at the same time, it made me more comfortable just being me.
Yeah. Yeah. Fully accepting that part of you. Because I know that
Hmm.
sometimes when people have mental illnesses, um, we tend to hide it because in the African American community, it's very stigmatized.
Yep, it's
It's
looked
not
down
talked
on.
about, you know, and it makes people very self-conscious about it,
Yes,
or,
ma'am.
like it's something wrong, but it's part of your experience as a human. It's part of you.
Yep.
It doesn't define you. It's something that is a
It's
part of your
it's a part
experience.
of me. Yep, and it's up to me how it is portrayed. I have to do my part. You know, I have to do what I'm supposed to do. And I know that in order for me to live the life that I want to live, I have to do what I have to do what I need to do. I can't walk around here talking about I'm gonna self-medicate myself or, all this type of stuff. Like, no. If they say you need a pill,
Please take it.
take that pill.
Right.
Because I promise you, if I get to acting any type of way that ain't normal, the first question my friend's gonna ask me, you took your pill, you took your medicine. We
Right.
go out of town. We go out of town. Because one time I went out of town and I forgot it. And so now that you got your medicine with you, and I
Because
laugh
what you
about it.
won't do is
Because ain't nobody got time for all that. You got your so
I
so
love it.
yeah. So yeah, they like anybody got time for that. Girl, Call the pharmacy. How can we get you some here? Um so yeah, and I laugh about it. Because it is. It's a part of my life. And I know if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, things ain't gonna be right. And I want to continue living my life like I live my life comfortably, successful. I can't be successful not doing what I'm supposed to do when it comes to my health. And I have to. And and like you said, in the black families, like it's shunned upon. Oh, ain't nothing wrong with you. You just want some attention. That type of stuff. No, no, something is wrong.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or that's just how that's just how he is. That's just
Yes.
how she is. She flighty.
Yes. But really some like you need to get like that person probably needs to go get some help. And I love Jesus. Did you hear me? I love me some Jesus. But I also know at times I need me some couch time.
Right.
Get you a go talk to a therapist. Go talk to somebody. Yes. Yes, I love him. And I know I'm not where I am without him. But he also gave me five senses to understand. Take care of yourself. And if you don't take care of yourself the right way, that can affect your life negatively. So for me, I'm gonna take it faithfully because I enjoy life. I don't want to be in
Absolutely.
the bed. I don't want to be crying. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be doing all that. I want to, if I can control as much as I can control, I'm going to control what I can. And of course, sometimes it's just things you just can't. But what I can control, if I can minimize certain things, I'm gonna do my best to minimize those things.
Absolutely. So this is how you became safe with you.
Mm-hmm. Yep, because I feel like every adult in my life failed me. And I felt like I've never been safe with nobody. And at one point, I wasn't safe with myself because of suicide attempts.
Hmm.
And also I didn't want to be by myself because I didn't trust what I would do if I was by myself.
So with that being said, and part of that I'm sure was a result of the accumulation of the things that you've had to suffer
Mm-hmm.
through, like you said, living through childhood traumas and not being safe with yourself at one point. You mentioned the, you know, being suicidal at some points.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me now about where you are with your self trust.
I love me some me. And if I kill myself, the world is going to miss out on this greatness.
That part.
Uh, so, and it was more or less like just not wanting to feel. I didn't want to feel. I don't want to feel the pain. I didn't
Right.
want to go through those things. I didn't want to go through a breakup. I didn't want to be by myself. All those things of just being by myself. And
Right.
I finally realized, like, if they don't want to be here, let them go. But you're going to find somebody, no, find within yourself, love yourself enough to be with yourself. Love yourself to know, don't none of that stuff matter. There's a temporary hurt. You pray about it, you figure out how you're going to deal with it, write it down, and ask God to give you the steps that you need to get past all of that. But understand, you got work to do. You got somewhere to be tomorrow. You got things to do. You got trips to take. Like, girl, you don't pay for a trip. You ain't nobody finna be wasting no money. I don't pay for this. I got to utilize all of this stuff, this equipment and everything. I got clothes that I need to wear that I haven't worn yet. I got to go outside. So and it's like whatever I need to say to myself to let myself know, girl, whatever. But I will say this: one of my friends said, when you go through talking about a breakup and feeling by yourself and don't want to be by yourself and oh, I can't get through this. She made a comment. She said, "If I can live through my mama passing away,
Lord.
I can live through anything."
Mm, mm, mm.
My mama that raised me passed away in 2010. If I can live through that, I could live through anything.
Mm-hmm.
And and literally, I felt like she was the only person. She was my aunt, but she raised me, so that was my mom.
Yeah.
And if I could live without her being on this earth, I could live without you. But I want to live with me. So
Mm-hmm.
I started taking myself out on dates. I started just being by myself. I hate driving, but I have to push myself sometimes to just go outside, even if I ain't at the Walmart. I just go outside and just enjoy my own company. Because
Right.
if I can't enjoy my company, how do I expect for somebody else to enjoy my company?
Right. You're not needing or depending on something external for your
No.
happiness because happiness comes from within. And I
Mm-hmm.
want to just real quick for our listeners who may have had suicidal ideations, or maybe attempts, remember that if you can just make it through the next minute, the
Mm-hmm.
next hour,
Yes.
the next, there is help for you. And as Chenelle
Absolutely.
said, you may need to get yourself a different tribe. You may
Mm-hmm.
have to get your friends who will be there for you no matter what, how you are, what good, your good days, your bad days. Someone will hold you accountable, hold your hand.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, you can dial 988 pound 988 for help. It's the suicide hotline. There's someone always there to help you, to talk you through it. But I always say, if you can just hold on through the night,
Mm.
the morning will come.
It will come.
And it seems so unbearable in that moment. And Chanel, thank you so much for sharing that. And also the part about where you just wanted the pain to stop. And what I found with talking with people who have experienced that and self harm, it's not that they really want to be gone.
No.
They
No.
just don't want to hurt
I
anymore.
don't want to. I did not want to hurt no more. I didn't want to lose another person from my life. I just didn't want to hurt no more.
Right.
And then, and of course, I got 3 kids. You
Hmm.
know, I got 8 grandkids.
Hmm.
What's gonna happen to them if I'm gone before
Right.
I'm supposed to be gone? You know,
Right.
I
Right.
love my grandkids. My grandkids love me. Like I can't do that to them.
Hmm.
You know, I can't do that to myself.
Right.
I deserve I deserve so much more than me taking my life because I got tired. I got tired of doing stupid stuff to myself because the next morning, the next day, I feel the effect of it. Now I'm sick,
Hmm.
you know. And I got to figure out like how can I make myself better? Because
Right.
I'm like, dog, it didn't work. And I'm like, now I'm
Hmm.
sick. I
Hmm.
got, you get tired of it. And it's like a changed mindset. Like
Right.
I
Right.
had to change my mindset. I had to change my mindset. It wasn't about the hurt. It's about what am I going to do for this to not happen to me again? Like if
Hmm.
I can prevent it, what can I do what can I do to avoid those type of things from happening to me again? And I knew that I was attaching myself to people and sometimes situations that really were not good for me. But when you go through life always looking for somebody to love you,
Hmm.
that little attention means the world to you. Because
Hmm.
why? Because you ain't got it before.
Right.
But now anything anybody do for me is extra. Cause I'm baby,
Extra.
anything anybody does for Chenelle is extra. Cause I love me some me. When I step out this house, I'm be clean. Face gonna be beat. I'm be cute. If I ain't nothing else, I'm cute. I'm dressed. I'm cute. You know, listen,
And
you
that
know,
makes you happy.
that makes me happy. Putting my clothes on, putting me an outfit together, put my face on and going outside. That makes me feel good. When I step out, I'm known for my glasses. Like, yeah, I'm gonna give me a different my glasses go 9 times out of 10, match my outfit.
I love
Like
that.
my glasses. My glasses, even I had surgery on my eyes and they was like, oh well, you may still have to wear glasses. I told them, I said, whether you fix my eyes where I can't, that I don't need glasses, I'm gonna still wear glasses. That's my signature. My glasses and my hair has always been, and the way I dress, I'm gonna put that stuff, I'm gonna put it on. And I'll be
I know
cute.
that's right.
I'm gonna put it on. It makes me feel good.
Hmm.
It makes me, if you look good, you feel good. And it makes me feel good. And some days I have gotten up not feeling my best. But once I put those clothes on, I'm snapping me a selfie. I'm taking me a picture.
Hmm.
Yep, like, okay, girl, you cute.
I know that's right. That's that positive
Yes.
affirmation,
Yes,
self-talk,
ma'am.
learning how to turn that thing
Yes.
around.
Yes, girl, you cute. Yep. Okay. Okay, I see you. I talk to myself all the time. I tell anybody, y'all walk up on me and I'm talking to myself, I'm all right. I talk to myself all the time. We good.
I
you
love it.
know.
You have to find mantras. One of my favorite
Mm-hmm.
mantras is if I'm having a really hard time or going through or trying to figure out something, I remind myself that all is well and all will be well. And when it comes to accepting things for what it is, I may say, it is what it is. I can't change the past. I can't predict the
Mm-hmm.
future, right? Can't go
Yep.
back in time. These are some of
Mm-mm.
the mantras that you can say. Another one is, I can't control anybody but me. I may
Nobody
not
but me.
always agree or like something, and that's okay. I don't have to always
Mm-hmm.
agree. Sometimes we have to remind
Mm-hmm.
ourselves there's no point in getting upset over the past. It's already done. It's gone. How can
It's
I show
done.
up
It's
different
gone.
moving forward? What can I do?
Yep.
Like I said, we talked
Mm-hmm.
about healing as we go. Okay, as I'm getting over all of that, how can I move forward? All I can do
Yep.
about the past is eat the meat and throw away the bones. In other words, what
That's it.
lessons can I learn from what
From this.
happened?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And like I just like with jobs or certain things, if it didn't work out like I wanted it to, that wasn't for me.
I love
God got
that.
something else for me that wasn't for me. There have been
Yeah.
jobs, but my current one particular job that I applied for, and I didn't get it. And years later, I realized if I had taken that job, I would not be, if I had gotten that job, I should say, I would not be where I am in my job now, in my career. I wouldn't be where I am now. So that wasn't for me. He opened something else up for me, and I've
Yeah.
been thriving ever since. So I don't look at it as, oh man, I didn't get that job. And the manager at the time, he said, "You took that news real good." I said, "That wasn't my job."
Mm-hmm.
He
Mm-hmm.
said, "What?" I said, "That wasn't my job." I
Yeah.
said, my job is coming. That wasn't my job."
Yes, indeed. Having that positive outlook on things. And and it's not toxic, positivity. Toxic
Mm-mm.
positivity is saying, oh, putting your head in the clouds and acting like it's not there. No,
Mm-hmm.
positivity is acknowledging what it is,
Mm-hmm.
saying what it is, and understanding that there's something better ahead. Or like you
Yeah,
said, it wasn't for me. One
it
of
was.
my favorite things my husband and I say all the time is like when one door closes, another one opens.
Mm-hmm.
So not getting so attached to outcomes or other people and what they can do for you.
Mm-hmm.
So this has been a wonderful conversation, and I am enjoying myself. But but now as we get ready to close out, um, what I'd like for you to first of all let what is one thing that you can leave with our listeners, maybe one mantra or whatever you feel that would be the most important thing. If they don't remember nothing else, you want them to remember this. And also let us know how they can reach you if if they want to just reach out to you for some extra support or maybe go into your website. Let us know.
um, if it's one thing that I can leave with someone is them knowing that healing is not a destination; it's a journey.
Amen.
Um, no matter how far you go, how no matter how much healing you've done, you will continue to heal
Hmm.
because those things happen to you. They happen. They're not going to go away. We can't blow them away. We can't think them away. No matter how far back in our heads we put those situations, if we don't deal with them, they're going to come back up. And so with those things, you have to learn how to deal with them and just know like I don't have to deal with this thing this way. Oh, that thought came up. Okay. All right, God. What was that for? You know, it ain't gonna put me in the bed for a week. Okay, what was this for? And
Right,
then
right.
work through it, even if it's calling a friend or setting up a counsel session, with a therapist, or of course praying about it. Figure out what works for you to help you understand you are deserving of all the good things that God has in store for you, and it's just waiting for you to grab it. It's just waiting on you. It's right there. And so once you make up in your mind that is what you want to do, baby, soar, go, keep, just run, grab hold to it and hold on to it tight because it's yours.
Yes.
It's yours.
Mm.
You don't have to hurt. You don't have to hurt. You don't have to do it alone because I know that there is at least one person out there just like me that had those abandonment issues, gone through molestation, been through domestic violence, all of those things just feel like you just was not worthy of anything. We are. We are. We deserve it. And we gonna get it.
Show is. I love that. That's so powerful. And how can our listeners reach you?
So I am on Facebook, of course, under my name, Chenelle Deloach. Chenelle is how I spell Chanel. And my website is CHEPRESSED designs.com.
Thank
And that is where I'll have my book that's dropping. My book
I'm
will be
so
on my
excited.
website.
So when is the book going to be coming out again?
So my book drops on April the 27th. It will be on my website and I will also drop it on Barnes and Noble.
And can we do pre-orders?
Yes, I will have a link for pre-orders within the next 2 weeks. So yes.
I'm so excited. I can't wait to read the book.
Thank you.
And all of your handles and your your pages will be in our description for this episode. So if you didn't get it, don't worry. It'll be in the description. You'll be able to reach out to her and just click on it. Now, you already know what I'm going to say as we close out. Self care is not an option, it's necessary. When you learn to love yourself, it really doesn't matter who doesn't.
Mm.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And until the next time, have a great one.